So, good afternoon, everybody. This is our weekly update number 74 that we're on now. So, yeah, number 74. And today we've got lots and lots of stuff to talk to you about. What's been happening here during the week, all our comments and tips and from our clients that we've been working with. We've got our YouTube comments, Jane says, and out and about in Spain. And we're going to be talking about the new 365-day non-lucrative visa. And we have a special guest. Can you guess who that special guest is going to be? There you go. There's a free magnet. Okay, if you can guess who it. Oh, I think I've given it away. Never mind. This is our weekly update number 74. So yeah, I might have given away who the guest is today.
How you doing? I got one of them as well. Look. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, okay. I'll be honest with you. I'm a bit cream crackered after yesterday's shenanigans, which I'm going to explain later on in our out and about in Spain.
I bet you are, yeah.
Section, which a lot of good tips, a lot's a bit scary as well, to be honest with you. It really was. But we'll, if you want to hear about what my shenanigans, what I got up to yesterday evening and why I was late to bed and why I'm absolutely looking like I need another coffee, then stick around to the end and we will be telling you. So we've got 10 people on now at the moment. For those of you who don't know, please tell us who you are.
Yeah.
You are. Who are you?
Who are you? Who am I?
Yes, tell us who you are. Tell us who you are.
Scott, you can see on that, there's a little thing on the bottom of the screen there where I can't use that. Terrible going the wrong way around, isn't it? I can't use the right hand. I'm Scats from U2 Spain, a YouTube channel, which features every 2 weeks. Chris from Upsticks, and he's over there. No, he's not. He's over there.
The Scats has come to give me a hand today with our weekly update. So we can go to the chat. We've got 9 people on. Have we got anybody in the chat?
Donald McKenzie.
Donald McKenzie's in. He says, "Hey guys, sorry a bit late. Don't worry, I was about a minute late in as well, so that's great." Steve Moody said, "Great chat with you yesterday. Yeah, it was great. Lovely to speak to you after listening to your advice. I've started the ACRA request this morning. Haven't received your email. Just in case I've given the wrong email address, please." Okay, I'll check that out. I'll put that on our list to check out. Jane will be sending that out. And Patricia, how you doing? Patricia's there in the frustrating wait for a visa. And Shamil, how you doing, Shamil? Good to see you in the house as well. So we've got quite a few people in today. That's brilliant. Right, and so we're going to get cracked on. First of all, talking about the residency. Now we are on our YouTube section. We'll discuss the 365-day visas that you did a video on as well.
I did, yeah. I was just looking at my phone. It's at 1,974 views on mine. And I think that might be because it's been connected to yours. So I don't know how many views you've had yet.
I think I was quite pleased with mine. And it also got a great response. I've seen it on a lot of Facebook groups and stuff like that as well. And you always get the odd dodgy comment, but this one seems to have done really well. So it's up at 2,800 views.
Wow, brilliant. You released that last Thursday, was it?
Last Thursday, yeah. And it's and the other thing about it, which is quite cool about this video, is it's not the 2,800 views, but it's the fact that it actually gained 88 subscribers for the channel.
That is cool, yeah. Yeah, excellent. Can I share a screen? Because I'll show you the thing. I wonder if it'll let me.
Go for it.
Let's see. Share screen. Oh, there it is. You might have to share it. Is it in your thing on the left?
Add to screen.
There we go. Yeah, that's the thumbnail for mine that came out yesterday, exactly 24 hours ago. That's me big starey eyes.
Cool. I didn't realize we could share screens. Anyway, we'll chat about that YouTube bit. So, what we got going on with the visas? No visas out this week, I'm afraid. So we can't give you any visa timings this week, but we have got a couple of congratulations first of all. So to Nikki and Malcolm, who I haven't got a photo of, but they've worked so hard to get their paperwork together, and I think it's only taken around 7 weeks. And they were at their appointment today in Manchester, and they said that they said thank you with all your heart for helping us. I can tell you thank you for being great clients, because you really have worked hard to get yourselves there. And also to Roger and Maria, which I have got a photo, so check this out. That's Roger and Maria outside the London BLS office today.
Nice.
And they also did extremely well with getting their paperwork together and got it in, though the London office apparently was hectic today. They were there for an hour and a half. Which meant that Roger had to go and have a big meal in London. There you go. So I've got a picture of Roger there as well. That's his lunch. Getting his strength back after the appointment. So well done, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, there. And also, I met, and I don't have a photo. Just wanted to say hello to Gary and Angela, who from Moyina, who I went out and met and picked up their TIE card. Got a big hug from Gary, and it was really nice, to meet people, because I'm locked away here quite a bit. You must get that when you're out and about, when you see people.
Yeah. I've just been out today. It's lovely when I go out, because I've got a radio show as well, and because I record the radio show, part of the brilliant thing about it is I get to go out to people's houses, to musicians' houses, and play a song with them and do the interview there. So it gets me out of my office, and I get to go out on the street. And I went out and had a beer with him afterwards, so that was really good. And he lives in Torrox, Pueblo.
Right, nice. Excellent.
Yeah. So I get the same thing as you. I'm locked up in the office far too much of the day. I don't even get to see Liz, and she's just like over there.
Yeah, well, at least you got like two working environments. That's good. That's why sometimes Lara works from home, because she's got a desk here, but she's thinking, no, if I'll kill you if I'll be there for 5 days a week. So
yeah.
But so yeah, it's cool. It's lovely to get on about. So it's great to see Gary and Angela. And what else have I got? So these are the tips that we've got from this week, which have come through. Now, when we're talking to let's have a quick look at our calendar. So we're supposed to meet you today. That didn't happen, so I must apologise for that, Scaz.
No worries. We can report that on the next show, can't we?
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll get to go to Malaga and do, because we need to get to the hospital and sort out, because I think I've fallen off the radar.
Oh, I think you've fallen off the radar. You can't fall off the radar. I fell off the radar with my arm as well, and it's been hard to get back on. That was completely my fault as well. So, but we've had this week, what we had a couple of pickups that I did. We had a criminal records check appointment just for you guys who this is a circumstance we don't see an awful lot, but sometimes people have come. We've had people come to Spain now on a non-lucrative visa, spend a year, decide that it wasn't quite right for them, then go back to the UK, spend a year, and then get their ducks in a row, and then come back out again. Right, so they've gone through the visa process again, but don't forget, you've lived in Spain for a year during the last 5 years, so you need to have a criminal records check from Spain. Right. And the criminal records checks from Spain, we went and got one from Malaga. I have a video on my channel about it if you want to know how to do one in person, because it's by far the easiest way to go in person. You pay 363 tax or something, or 383 tax, 794. Go and get it. And but they don't give it to you straight away. They say they email it, because they have to check with the UK authorities. Apparently, I didn't think they had to do that. So I'm going to go back on Monday and say, well, you only need one for Spain, because we've already got the ACRO. But yeah, they told our client who went with Chris, it takes 2 weeks to come via email. So it's definitely worth, if you have lived anywhere in the last 5 years for more than 6 months, apart from the UK, remember you need a criminal records check from that country as well.
Brilliant. Good to know.
What else questions were, do I need a birth certificate? Only if you're under 21 now and a dependent on somebody else. If it's a couple of our demographic, mainly retired couples, you definitely don't need a birth certificate. And this is a good one. When you go on the booking system for the BLS, make sure the camera works on your computer. So I spent an awful lot of time with a client going through, because it's a terrible system. And we have an instructional video, and then I go do screen sharing. And we got all the way to the end to take the photo, and it was like camera
Not working.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a pain. So always make sure your camera works when you go on the booking system. And what was the other piece of advice we had that we picked up this week? And the other thing was, here we go. We've got some more comments down here. Well, our gents, greeted from Scotland. Hey, Alexander, how you doing? Hope you're well. And hi, guys. Love the videos. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Kelvin. Cheers. Hope you're wearing your cap. And the last one was driving licenses. We've seen a mistake this week. Remember that the DGT and the DVLA actually communicate with each other. And if you do an exchange, so we had a client who did an exchange but didn't want to lose the UK license, or despite what said in the video, you should watch the videos that we send you. And they said in their license, and why that was been exchanged, went and got a duplicate from the UK.
Oh dear.
Which meant that the duplicate from the UK was sent out before the completion of the exchange, and then you get basically a request for your latest license, because they can see that the license number has gone up one. So you never can have both licenses, and don't think you can get away with it.
Yes, don't try to be sneaky. Don't try and find any little holes in the rules.
No, and that causes you a world of hurt as well. If you do that, it's a world of hurt. I can honestly tell you that it's because then you've got to send another license to the DGT, and it's just like, oh my word, it's a nightmare. So yeah.
Some people are like that with the NLVs. They're trying to say, well, can I? I just want to go there for for 6 months. I just want to stay there for 7 months instead of trying to sneak in for 3 months here and 3 months there. So can I do it and then do that every year? And it's like, well, it's going to cost you a fortune. But is there a loophole? Just no. Stop looking for loopholes, because even if there is a loophole, they're very quick at closing them up, and they close it up behind you. You can't get back out again.
No, and it's like a 90, 180 or residency. Is really there's no loopholes. There's not even loopholes for Europeans. The only fact is you don't get registered to go in and out. You just have to register as resident. So
I did a video that was that was saying, are there any loopholes? Are there any loopholes in the NLV? What are the loopholes? And everybody got really annoyed when I go all the way through the video, and my final phrase is, there are no loopholes. So loads of people got really annoyed with that.
Yeah, but it gets loads of views though, and get some watching. Hey, Robbo, how you doing? Robbo's in the house.
Hey, Robbo.
They've got 14 people on. Okay, and so that was us. Unfortunately, no visas out. We had one renewal this week from Malaga. The renewals are taking an immense amount of time to come through at the moment.
Why is that?
I think just this change in the law has caused just such a huge backlog with the systems. We've got one file submitted, which is pending from February, I think, still.
Wow.
But that's for an arraigo, which they basically told us just to get, as long as it says it's in process, just leave it there. And then the rest we've got, the latest is from May, the renewals that we've submitted in May with various expiry dates, and we got one out this week from Malaga. Happily, it was approved, and it was approved on translated documents with no apostilles, which makes me very happy because they've had a knack of asking for apostilles lately. But yeah, we've got about 30, I think, submitted, and nothing's coming out at the moment.
Wow.
But anyway, never mind. Well, let's move on to what Jane says then, shall we?
Yes, I can't wait to hear what Jane said.
You've seen this is a new section because Jane's always got something to say here in the office. She works in stage 2. I said we really need to publish this.
We do.
So before we do Jane says, what does Scat say? What have you learned this week, Scats? Give us something that you've learned, something new this week.
Something new. Don't have 2 cocktails in a row when you go out to the cocktail bar in Computer, because they put they put 4 shots in each cocktail. It was right. So yeah, I was out there last night. So our friends were celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary, and we just went out with them for a drink before they went for a meal at another restaurant. So we went to the cocktail bar, and I got there first, so I'd already ordered one, and I was halfway through it because they were late arriving. So I had this one that was what was it called? A full black Irish. It's called. It was one of their variations, the FBI for short, and it had vodka, Kahlua, and Bailey's. Oh no, it's only 3 shots. Vodka, Kahlua, and Bailey's. That's enough though. 3 shots. And what else? Ice cream. That's what made it up into that. So it was like a dessert, and it had a lovely design. Imagine that in chocolate around the inside of the glass. It's like a tree, fingers of a tree. That was lovely. Yeah, and I shouldn't have had another one after that. So that's my advice for the week. It's not very NLV or residency, but
that's all about Spain, all about everything here. NLV, residency, Spain. That sounds disgusting, though.
it was lovely. It was lovely. It was better than the second one that I had. It was kind of supposed to be chocolate orange, which had what do you call Jack Daniel's bourbon? It had bourbon, brandy, and kind of chocolate liqueur, I think, and it didn't really taste of much except for brandy and whiskey. So yeah, and it had this kind of icy orangey thing on the top that you had to break through. That just made it taste really, really sweet.
Bit of an old-fashioned man myself, really.
Yeah, beer cocktail.
No, I know the old-fashioned's the only cocktail I go for. Really.
Oh, I see, the actual old-fashioned. Yeah,
the actual old-fashioned. That's about it, really. I think I'm not really into.
You like mojitos and things like that.
Well, I don't mind a mojito in the feria. You know, we get them in the big because they've hardly got any alcohol in them, really, haven't they? You know, they've tronas and they're full of ice up to here, and it's really warm. And I'd have one of those. But
mind you, if you went to the place in Composure, I bet they'd put 3 shots in it of it, you know, just to make it as strong as everything else on the menu.
Oh my word! I tell you, yeah, that's it's not that bad. It's just in this heat, it's getting up in the morning, isn't it? You know, you don't want to be hungover in the morning in this heat, do you?
No. And I had to do that radio show, and I had a cup of coffee before I set off, and I put another one in a spare mug so I could drink it when I got there during the interview, and it got me through, you know.
Look at this. We've got somebody in from the USA. Yeah, from Delaware in the USA. First time here. Hey, Stephen. Good to see you in.
That's the advantage of doing a 6 o'clock show. We can't do it on my 10 o'clock in the morning show because it's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning in Delaware.
Yeah, I've found it better. I like this Thursday 6 o'clock. So I've just finished work. So it doesn't mean I'm always that well planned. But I've just finished work. We've written the notes up from the week because as the week goes on, I literally just cut and paste why did someone ask me about birth certificate? Stick it in the notes. That'll do.
Yeah.
And going on about that, well, Jane says. So Jane has just got put on Jane Says. And for those who don't know, first time here, Jane is my colleague here in the office, and she works the stage 2. So I work at the beginning of the process, getting people's permission and getting the right to live in Spain. And Jane generally works in stage 2. Managing the translators who are out across the country and what we call registering the visas and permissions of residency. And she said, we've got multiple reports from clients that are collecting their TIA cards from Cartagena, saying it's something of a bun fight down there. There's no clear instructions on a day, no structured queuing. It can take ages to get into the building for a 2-minute appointment. This is just for information, so you're aware. So that was on one of our internal notes because we have an internal system. I said, Jane, I think we're going to read that out live. On the show. And if you are going to Cartagena, remember to pick up your card, your TIE card. We're always there for the first appointment. There will always be with us a translator there holding your hand through the appointment. But we don't send one to pick up the cards because it's already been approved. But if you do go there, be prepared just to stand in front of the queue and make sure that you're there on time. And just remember, it can get a little bit hectic. Also, it's very important to be prepared because of the heat at the moment. So sun hats, water. We did say that last week, but I can't stress enough this time of the year. Make sure that you are heat prepared guys, because when you
Is
go,
there a queue outside at Cartagena as well, like there is in Malaga?
you got a queue outside in Cartagena. So yeah, that's what Jane says. And she did say something else. What else did she say? Oh yes, and the other thing that Jane says is when you're going through the visa process, whether it be with us, with someone else, or on your own, remember to check your spam. The reason being, this is a very good bit of advice. The reason being is because 50% or 70% of the emails you're going to be getting are going to be from companies, translators, apostille people. You're going to have medical insurance, your visa specialist. And your email is getting lots of spam and professional people, and when the whole of your email life has just been, you know, friends and family, probably for the email that you're using. So what we've noticed is with the tightening of the internet rules and stuff, and the way that the AI is kicking in, is a lot of not only our emails but our providers' emails are going straight into spam. And you have to then obviously give them permission. So check your spam. Do you have that with your newsletters at all? I suppose you wouldn't know, would you?
I do check my spam, but I don't know.
I mean, we
a lot of them.
sending yours out because we can see whether
Oh,
emails have been opened or not.
oh yeah, I can because we use Mailchimp as well. We use the same one, and you can tell how many clicks and how many opens, and mine's kind of 60% ish.
Right.
So I don't know if the other 40% are just not opening them, or they just archive them straight away, or junk them, or whatever. I don't know. It's impossible to tell unless they actually unsubscribe, and I get one unsubscribe a month normally, something like that. But there's always more people subscribing, so that's all right.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, it's check your spam if you're going through any of your visa process and you think I haven't had an email from them. It could be in your junk folder.
Yeah.
So is it junk folder or is it spam? Mine
depends. It's junk on an Apple.
right.
Yeah.
Mine's I think spam's like not the correct way of saying it, so we'll say junk.
Yeah. Although junk in America means something completely different. Ask Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen. Yeah, don't be telling clients in America that if they can check their junk.
Check your junk.
Right. We'll move on from there with YouTube. Right, so we've got our YouTube comments. This is where we grab some comments. I didn't manage to grab all of them from the video, but it's got 3,000 views nearly. So I'll do those next week. But just going to bring some of the comments across for you to read. So this is from the 365 video. Great video again. I wonder, as I will be going on an Irish passport, will I get 90 days to get residency or 365 as the new NLV? It's 90 days, completely different. So being an EU citizen, you are obliged, if you intend to stay over 90 days, to register yourself in the country. It's a registration for somebody who already has the right to be in Spain. So the 365 won't apply to you.
Mm-hmm. Is it only the NLV that it's the 365?
No, it applies to most visas, the 365, and it never applied to the NLV before, and now it has. So like things like even like the golden visa, used to get golden visa people, for example, who got the visas from the consulate, didn't actually have to get a TIE card if they didn't want to.
Yeah.
This is where it might cause some confusion. I mean, luckily for our demographic of clients, most of them are dying to get in and just crack on anyway. So I don't think it's going to affect us. But I do think that it could affect the understanding for people who maybe do want to just have a year's free travel in and out and not renew. It's a possibility they could use that visa.
Yeah, it's a bit costly, I suppose.
Could be costly, but it's a multi-entry 365-day visa, so we're yet to see how that's going to play out. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, check out this video here, which is the NLV latest news. So yeah, what we're worried about is that it's open to abuse, and then obviously for the renewals, like you said on your video as well, If someone comes right to the back end of their visa and we don't know until we go to the first TIE card appointment, but if they give the TIE card from the date that the visa was issued and you hadn't been in for 6 months in the country, then you won't get your renewal.
Yeah. It's a bit of a scary one, that one.
Yeah, and misleading. You have to know. But anyway, find your visa specialist. But yeah, it's a scary one. SM400 took me 8 months to get a CETA to change my NIE to a TIE. Same number when done. I was absolutely illegal for a good while, despite worked and paid autonomo here. Good. Luckily, I got a 5-year when done. Yeah, so that looks like that was a EU residency, and it can take a long time to get appointments, especially in places like Valencia and Alicante.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we got going on?
You've got a political question.
Have I got a political
on the
question?
live chat?
Oh,
yeah.
Let's have a look here.
All about the Vox Party.
So what we've got going on here? Let's put this up. Hi, both. Political question. Oh, don't do the MCR. No, I'm joking. I heard a rumor that Vox Party are very anti-immigrant. Will this cause a problem if they get in at the next election? Thanks for your helpful videos. I don't think now they're obviously the Vox Party are very right wing, and you often see the little Vox pop-up stalls in and around different towns. I don't think they'll get in the next election anyway. I don't think it's something to worry about.
I don't think they'll be the major party.
No, if they did get in, might be a problem.
They might join in with the PP.
Yeah, you might find that that they might join the PP to get rid of the PSOE, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I did see something on Facebook. Somebody put up a sign that some of the Vox people were saying that if they get in, they'd get rid of the 8 million immigrants. And there aren't even 8 million immigrants in the country, so I don't know what they were talking about.
I think it's it's more directed at, and let's be perfectly frank, it's more directed at illegal immigrants and people that would have to be supported by the state than people who are coming on NLVs, for example, who can prove they can support themselves. I think that's more their focus, isn't it?
Although if they're anything like Trump, they'd start off with those people and then they just start throwing everybody else out now.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they don't get into power. Yeah. I'll tell you the funny story about the Vox Party that I accidentally went to.
No, tell me.
So we were like, oh, hang on a minute, I've done something to my screen now. What have I done? Who's that? Oh, there we go. We went to this thing in Coin where they had there was like a feria, there was a market thing going on, and it was to celebrate the oranges, I think, or something like that. And I was like, oh, we'll go to that. And there's this like this big room with all these like sort of activities going on. And stupidly, I didn't really see what was going on. I saw a load of people with green hats and didn't think about it. And there was a lot of the older generation. I was with the kids and stuff like that. And then we walked in. It's a big table with kids and everything there. And my kids are like very foreign looking anyway. And I'm like, oh, go play with the kids. Go on. I'm going to the lady. Listen, they're sitting down and they're playing. I'm going to get them free orange juice. And there's some flamenco going on over there, type thing. Getting really stuck in. And then I turned around. I was with Lara. I turned around. I looked and went, no, I think this is a Vox political party. And she went, what? I said, look at the hat they've just given you. And she looked at it. It was a green hat with Vox on it.
Oh, no.
And I started looking at it. And then you start seeing like Vox. And I was like, okay, right, we better go.
Just slide gradually out of the room.
Yeah. See you later. Nothing to see here. Don't check my passport. So that was funny. But they were very pleasant, I have to say.
Yes, they are to start with.
Oh dear, that was hilarious. But yeah, let's see what happens with Vox. So anyway, next comment. Thanks for the video question. If I was sent to Spain in November, when do I become a tax resident and do have to remain in Spain for 183 days consecutively in one go, or can you leave Spain at different times as long as you have spent 183 days a year? Also, it is within. Oh, what have I done now? Scats.
Yeah, there you go.
Within the year from the start of your visa or the start of the tax year. Thanks. I think, okay, that's a question of tax and residency.
Yeah, there's a confusion, isn't it?
Yes, the tax year is January to December, 1st of January, 31st of December. Spend 183 days or more during that period, you'll become a fiscal resident in Spain. We're not tax advisors, but that's the general rule.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of your residency, it depends where the start date of your TIE card is. At the moment, with the NLVs, it starts from your entry date into Spain, and then the natural year from that point, you cannot have been out of Spain for more than 183 days, but you can do that at separate times, i.e., you have to be here permanently for 183. Going back to the 365, that's where it's all going to be confused, isn't it? Because if they give you your TIE card from the date of your visa, but you entered 2 months after, right?
Yeah.
Then the natural year starts 2 months before.
Yes, and are they going to do your tax year as that, if they're going to count that as your residency date?
Well, the tax will be physical days from January to December, but the worrying thing is if someone doesn't come in, say, for 90 days on the visa, and then they give them the start date of the visa, start date of the residency, they've already eaten 90 days of their allowance.
Yeah, and what if you get if the start date, say you're in June when you've applied for it,
yeah,
but you don't actually go in until August, which is going to be the start of your visa, the start of your residency. If it's in June, then your tax year will be that same year. There you go.
Of course.
Because, I hadn't thought of that one. That's another question.
That's another question. So if your visa started, it'd be too late now this year, but next year your visa starts on the 20th of June, and the midway point of the year is around the 7th of July or something.
4th, I think.
4th or something. Then you're gonna. Will they take that as your fiscal residency date? Because most tax advisors say that you have physical days in Spain, but the moment that you actually register your visa and you got your entry stamp, every day out of Spain counts as well because you're resident in Spain.
Does, yeah. Once you've hit the day one.
That's going to be so... What a pain.
And we'll see. How long is it going to be before the first ones get registered?
At the moment, we've got 2 on the desk, and one of them's Almeria, unfortunately, so there could be a while before that appointment happens. That says reports back from Almeria. I have to. This is one thing I do have to do. Is I do have to give a big shout out to Carly over there in Almeria, who works with us. And add Carly, she's got her own business, but she also helps us with our appointments, and we help her in Malaga and stuff. So she is one of our great collaborators over there. And the good thing about our network of people is we're not in competition with each other. We're all in it together to help people. Yeah. And we don't associate with anybody who's not got that mindset, and everybody is in it together. And I've even had some of our collaborators who didn't know each other be like, do you know somebody? I'll get, yep. Speak to Costa in Valencia, and because everybody's got the same ethos as they want to help people move to Spain. And this week she pulled an absolute blinder by getting one of our clients in with a member of their family because they have to travel in August 2 months earlier than their appointment, for exceptional circumstances, which meant visiting the boss, pulling a favor and getting them through. So I'd like to thank her for that this week in Almeria.
Lovely. Well done, Carly.
Oh, done, Carly. And so this question here, just what's your latest... Oh, sorry, going back to your question, Scats. Don't know. We haven't got the appointments, but I suspect Granada's going to be the first one that we have next month.
Yeah. Good, okay then. So we can't report it on our next show. My next show that you'll be on. It won't be in time by then.
I doubt it, but I will be going to that appointment anyway. I'll have a day out and try and catch up with work and have a day out, so we'll see.
Yeah, take a hat.
Take a hat. I haven't got a hat here. I'll take one of these Upsticks folders.
Yeah.
We've
got one of those spray things. Liz bought one of those spray things. You get in restaurants where the spray comes down and it's lovely and cool. And on a hot day in Granada, they're all the Plaza ones have got it in in Granada. But yeah, Liz bought one from Temu, and it came on. It's fantastic. It's got 4 big spray jets that just fill the air with this lovely, cool mist. Brilliant.
Yeah, but from T, I have to get one of those. I remember I've been banned from going on Temu now, so I'm not allowed.
We'll have to get them for you and send them across.
Yeah, all the random packages that turn up in the office, and like, who ordered this? I'm like, don't know. Look at my account. Oh, it was me 3 months ago. Dear me. Saturday night at 11 o'clock or something. You know, never order from Temu after you've had a Saturday afternoon if you've had a couple of beers. Anyway, comment. Hi, Steve. Just watched your latest vlog. Very interesting. It was my wife and I have had a home here in the Costa del Sol, Sabiniers for the last 10 years, and we're looking to move over permanently in 2027 NLV, and you will be the guy to process everything for us. Cheers, Stephen. I'm currently here at the moment for 3 months, so maybe we could chat about the costs and what's involved in 2026, which won't be that far away. It's true. Get in touch now. Been following you for a good quite some time. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Steve. There's a little Welsh flag there going on as well. Steve, yeah, drop us a call, or if you're in the area, just drop in and say hi. Let us know when you come in, though, and then I can make sure that I've got time to run out and have a coffee, and that's a good time to put the book a call up there.
Yeah. Good stuff. Do you remember when we did the shows on my channel? We did a whole series, like 4 in a row. We did, the first one was what to do when you're a year away from your planned entry date, and then what to do 6 months before, and then what to do 3 months before, and then what to do once you're on your way. That was really good, but that must have been about 4 years ago when we did all of those.
We need to do that again. Should we do that? Because the timescales would have completely changed.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they?
That's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do part 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
part 2 of the 4-parter.
2.0. Alexander is on the chat. There we go. Said thanks for another clear and concise video, Chris. The 365 days could be helpful for those of us who are in the process of selling a house in the UK. Again, another angle. All going well, we will apply for our visa once we have accepted an offer, sell the house before the 31st of December, and move to Spain after the 1st of January, bearing in mind that we need to have 183 days in Spain for the renewal. I know it won't be smooth, but I'm looking forward to having a go at it. Cheers, Alex. Yep. That's another angle, isn't it, there, for people, give people a little bit more flexibility.
Yes. It could end up with people still stuck in rental properties in the UK, all living with relatives while they're waiting for their property to sell. Yeah. Because if they need the money for the NLV, for example, if they need the money in the bank. So, yeah, it's all about timing, isn't it? So many things to think about.
Time is a nightmare. Sometimes I pull my hair out with timing because, you know, our job is to give people answers, and sometimes I'm saying I can't. That's your decision, you know. So you can give people a structure. That structure might move forward or move backwards, and it's like, but the flexible elements of when's your house going to sell, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this is really hard to build into that structure because I can't tell you. So what we do is sort of a damage limitation exercise where people, depending on how keen people are to actually come and how much their estate agents, how long it says they're going to take, I'll say, right, we can order these documents, which is going to be a risk of a liability of say £200, for example, and then we'll park it. Okay, and we look at the expiry date of the documents, how long we can park it for, you know, and then at that point reassess what's going on with the house sale. So you've got this like,
it's movable. It's not like a framework, is it? It's like it's like the framework bit is made of bendy things, and it's on wheels as well, so it can all move forward.
Yeah. You've got like, you imagine. I wish I could do a 3D model of getting an NLV. Could you imagine that? And then you've got. So we do that, and some people are like, you know what, I don't really want to waste the money because I'm not feeling confident. And some people, you know what, said I will go for it. Let's do the 200 quid first, you know, and. spend our money on the documents. So we'll get to that point. Go, right now it's apostille time, that's translation time. Do you want to risk that? You know, what documents can we get updated if needed? So yeah, you try and do that, but ultimately you can only work with the current circumstance, can't you?
That's true. That is true. Oh, you've got 3 comments. One from Robbo, first of all.
Oh, this one. Hi guys, is it true that before you travel to Spain, do I need full health insurance?
Oh.
You need, well, depends. If you're coming as a resident, it'd be part of your residence application. So depending on what platform you're coming on, you're definitely going to need it at some point. You don't need it if you're just coming on holiday, but it's very, very advisable to have some sort of travel insurance rather than health insurance if you're coming on holiday.
Yeah, that covers kind of emergencies, and you can get sent back home as well. Make sure you've got the take my body home part on the insurance, if travel insurance.
You know, this came to light the other day when we went to Italy, and I traveled to the UK and then traveled to, you're very comfortable in the UK, though really I should have travel insurance for going there as well. And realized that we didn't have any until the last minute. And I was like, yeah, I just like, hang a minute, yeah, because something happens to me there, what goes on?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are now.
No,
unless you've got you can get a funeral plan that will cope with what happens in the UK, or cope with what happens when you're abroad as well, I think.
And your EHIC, if Spain gives you an EHIC, you could use that in Italy if you're entitled to one. So
yeah,
because it would be an EHIC from Spain rather than a GHIC from the UK for Spain if you're a resident here, especially permanent like me.
Yeah. Need to ask our funeral plan person about that as well.
Brother, Chris, in relation to paying tax in Spain, what is the threshold? I seem to remember on a previous show with Scats, it's 15,000.
Zero.
Zero. The tax threshold, check out. It really depends on your circumstance and the et cetera. But I think you've got a show with Lucia about this. Is that right? About income tax and stuff.
Yeah, I have one every 3 months. I've got a tax thing this Saturday, but it's about a new part of the company. You know, Kieran from Inno Insure. There's a new part of the company called Inno Taxes, and it's like an online system. So we're going to be talking about that one. But he's not a tax expert, neither am I. So we can't give answers on actual tax questions. But it does depend on your circumstances, I think. But basically, VAT, it's from zero.
Yeah.
But there are sort of different thresholds. I don't think it's as high as 15. But there's something that I read that if you're not earning in total in the year 15,000, then you don't even need to do a tax return. But I don't think that's right. I think you should do a tax return anyway. Yeah,
we need tax advisor. So check out Scats's channel, Robbo, for in 3 weeks when Lucia's on, or if not, we'll get you a call with a tax advisor. I think it's lower than that, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. It's more in the like 3 or 4, but there are different allowances as well that make it higher, and depends on your age as well. Once you get over 65, 67.
Yeah. Lee says, following on from the 183 days per year, how closely is the 10 months in 5 years monitored? If you exceed 10 months, what happens? Monitored very closely. And if you exceed 10 months, the likelihood is they could deny your application for permanent residency, or the larga duración.
How do they check it then? Have they got details from passport stamps and from the border guards or something?
Yes, so when you go through the renewal process, you have to submit every time a full copy of your passport.
Mm-hmm.
So you submit it the first year, then the third year, and then you'd be submitting it again at the end. So you suppose that those 3 submissions will mean that they can calculate the amount of days you've been out. And we know that they make the calculation of the days when you do your renewals, because we've had it before. We had one client who actually went over and was denied their renewal for going over and didn't tell us. But we saw it in the passports. They said, we'll put it in anyway, but we knew it was going to happen, unfortunately. So we know they count it. Patrick's in the house. Hi, Chris and Scats. They'll catch up the start later. Cheers, Patrick. Yeah. That's great. Good to see you in, and thanks for all your support on the channel. And we've got 28 people in. Scats, that's a record. That's a record.
Is it a record? Brilliant. That's good to know.
a record for me. Normally I'm on my own, so it's good to have you. You obviously brought us some good luck. Here, so
Yeah, brilliant. They've all come to see me. That's Patrick. He's always commenting on my videos.
it's great fun. Right. So anyway, we do have to do the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we had this comment here on the here we go on. Oh, it's a little bit small. And we had somebody who's basically had enough of Spain, believe it or not.
Oh,
You
see
know,
if I can read it.
yeah, it's a bit. I think we can read it out because it's, you know, we're always sharing the positivity, but this would be good to comment on. So my name's not. I can't remember what the actual name. Of the
My
person
name is not Dot.
Dot. He says, honestly, after 8 years here, I can say that with my hand on my heart that the juice is just not worth the squeeze when it comes to trying to retain residency here in Spain as a third country national, unless you want to sit around in crappy bars getting hammered on no longer foods, unpleasant temperatures all summer long, and you have nothing better to do with your life and zero aspirations at all beyond getting pissed and fatter every day.
That sounds fair enough.
Okay, so you've obviously been to Bonanza Square.
Yeah.
Benalmádena.
Describes Benidorm as well.
Okay, I think that's you know that's slightly unfair. I think that's not quite right. But you know, baby, you've been in the wrong tourist areas. A couple of home truths about Spain. The labour market is utterly screwed. Well, the labour market apparently is better than it's ever been. I do have to agree, though, in one small aspect, is that the problem is the labour market is fantastic in places which are very popular, but then drives up the price of housing, which means people can't actually afford to live there. So, yeah, I think that might be a dig at that, which is still something we've seen the kickbacks, haven't we? You know, with all that. You did a video on it, didn't you?
I did, yeah, absolutely, and it was brilliant.
So, you know, that was it. The number two, the economy is utterly screwed. Well, the economy...
That's rubbish. Yeah, Spain's got the best economy in the whole of Europe at the moment. Got the best GDP and everything.
There's definitely some money floating about in Spain, whether it's foreign or Spanish money. It seems to be... I have a very Spanish social group, and everybody seems to be working hard and doing very well for themselves. So I think the economy's okay.
And just to prove that this guy's wrong, he hasn't even got a number 3. So I wouldn't trust his maths and his economics.
Yeah, the economy is definitely not screwed. The healthcare service is screwed. Well, I got screwed by the healthcare service last year. I got screwed right here in my arm. I got screwed here in my arm.
Yeah.
And they put a big rod in, and I can honestly tell you, check this out.
Very good screws they are too. They're working.
And if it wasn't for them, I've been 6 months, I couldn't get my arm up. And then the old rehabilitator, as I call her, the rehabilitator in my class for slightly broken people, said, Chris, you're just not pulling it back enough. And she grabbed it and went, yeah. But look at it now. So, yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree with that. I've had 2 children through the social security system here. Lara had a very important operation that when they went in, they found some more. It wasn't anything like serious like cancer like yours, but they definitely were very, very, very careful with her and did an amazing operation when they were only trying to get rid of a cyst. They ended up giving a full thing which would help her out for definitely could have been problems in life. I've been through the cancer process with you last year, so I don't know what your comment is on that, but
yeah, I don't think the healthcare service is screwed. I mean, there are problems. There are the doctors were talking about going on strike, so it's not perfect, but I think that's the same everywhere about, you know, not having enough money and doctors working for too long hours, because they do. And junior doctors work something like 90 hours in the UK, and that's just ridiculous amount. And they've got to stay on call and be there. But yeah, but it's definitely not broken. And I didn't like the food in hospital, but there's always things you can complain about, aren't there? But they've got rid of my cancer, so
Yeah, and it's you know, and they painted the radiotherapy door in the TARDIS color, which always gave us a laugh when we went down there.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I thought, yeah, it was like going backwards in time or forwards in time, really, because they've got all the high tech kit. So yeah,
There was like a TARDIS though. I only went in there once for you, and I was like, "Well, that's a small door." I open it up, and there's the whole unit behind. Weren't there like people running around? It was like,
yeah, loads of people on computers, and they're all looking at what's happening on the scans as they're going through, because they all leave the room because they're not allowed to stay in when all of the radiation's going on. It's just you in this room where there's lots of boops going on, which is fun.
yeah. I mean, yes. So, and there is one thing we've got to say is like, you know, the public healthcare system is the public healthcare system, and it's the same in every country. It's funded by the state. You know, so okay, here there's a slightly different, you know, way you do have to pay into it to receive, but you know, it's still funded by the state. And if you're fortunate enough to be able to get private, I don't have private. I've never had private. 25 years I've lived here. Always use the public healthcare system. As you can see, I'm as fit as a fiddle. But if you could afford private and you're using the public healthcare, if you're not happy, go use the private then.
Yeah, there's a lot of Spanish people do both. You know, if they're
Yeah.
self-employed, they
Yeah.
pay the extra because they can get into things quicker, or you know, you can if you need a test doing, then you just order it really quickly and get it done, and then you go back on the public again, and they take you through the process. But you know, I had to wait quite a while for my what was it, colonoscopy test.
Yeah.
And I could have paid for it early on and got a quicker result and had things done a lot quicker. But, you know, that was hindsight. You don't know, because the tests weren't saying I had cancer.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, I know a lot of people we know do combine the two as well. So you know, it might be good to do that, and even like the one-off payments, like so, not as serious. But we don't have dental insurance for our kids; we just pay as we go along.
Yeah.
Isla broke her tooth right at the front, chipped it, and I was like, Lara was like, "Oh, I told you to get that insurance." But I was like, "No, I'll be fine, be fine." Took her to the dentist, and it was proper like front tooth, and it's not a baby tooth, so it's a permanent tooth and stuff. And she went in, and the doctor, when she went into, sorry, the doctor, the
Dentist.
that's it. That's the word I'm looking for, dentista. Said, "Oh yeah, that's it. How much is it going to be? Oh, it's 90 euros. We're going to fix it." Did an amazing job for 90 euros.
Yeah.
But then when he turned around, he said to Lara, he said, "I recognise you." And she was like, "Yeah, I know who you are. You are the father of one of the teachers I used to teach for kids when I worked in El Pinar, the private school, before she was Lara Upsticks Drive." And he came out to reception and went, "It's 70 euros."
Brilliant.
It's
That's
not
what you
know.
get. And it's a lot cheaper than in the UK.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
and Ireland, and yeah, from experience.
Well, you had your teeth done, didn't you? On there.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, talking 15k, but that would be about 3 times the price in the UK for what I had done.
Fabulous. Well, let's crack on. As he says, number 5, cost of living is through the roof and almost on par with Northern European countries now, with a fraction of the earning ability. Well, you know what? There is a slight bit of truth for that. The cost of living has gone up and the wages are here low. That said, again, I have to defend the fact that if you want to eat cheaply, you can eat cheaply here, because you know, if you know what you're doing. The other day I fed 6 of us with a bag of potatoes and 1 chicken, and it didn't come to €9. I can tell you that, and it was a lovely bill.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can eat cheap if you want. And then he says number 6, and contrary to what your average Brit claims, living in baking temperatures 3/4 of the year is not pleasant. Well, it's not baking 3/4 of the year, is it?
No, it's 2 or 3 months.
Depending
on I mean, we've had probably 3 months this year to be baking, maybe, you know, maybe 4 if you include September, but it's not as baking in September, and I find it really pleasant.
Yeah, I do. It's okay. Baking July and August, but anyway, we know what we're in for. And he goes on to say, third country nationals are really not welcome in Spain, not even a bit. Working age Spanish can't get decent jobs. That's rubbish because I've got friends with decent jobs who have actually created careers. So, population's in aging upside pyramid, and the economy is cooked. So they don't want you as a skilled worker taking a job up, and definitely not want you as a pensioner putting strain on the health and social services.
I don't know what newspapers he's been reading, but they're the wrong ones.
He said he lived here 8 years, so definitely.
He's just bitter about something.
Yeah, but anyway, we've got to read all the comments, haven't we?
We do, yeah.
Even the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think it's only fair.
Well, that's the good thing about freedom of speech. You're free to say whatever you want, but also people are free to argue with you and tell you it's bollocks.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. But I respect anybody's opinion, but at the end of the day, you might get one back. That's it. Mm-hmm. But we're not here to argue. What we're here to do is we're here to promote Spain ultimately. So we're probably biased because we love it.
Yeah, and why not?
Lee says you two make a great presenting team. Thanks for always answering questions. So thanks for that. Yeah, it's. I think Lee jumps on your show as well, doesn't he, on a Saturday? So
yes, yeah. Thank you, Lee. We've been doing this a while now, haven't we?
Nearly 6 years. Donald says he thinks he's a good. He needs a good dose of the UK to find out what screwed really means.
Yeah, there's a few problems going on there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on the UK because I've lived there for 25 years, so it'd be rude to, wouldn't it?
It's been a while. 2013 we moved, so yeah, it's a long time for me as well.
Right, and so our last section of today, because we're already running up to an hour. We've still got 24 people on. This is brilliant.
Yay!
Well, for this section, first of all, I would just like to give a shout out to Stu and Joe, who are always sending us content to show from Mercia. They're like my Mercia correspondents, to be honest.
Oh, look at that lovely dog there.
And Waffles, who are celebrating a year in Spain. So we're going through the renewal process now with them. And they've celebrated Stu's 60th birthday in a year in Spain. So well done, guys.
Yeah.
We very, very happy for you. And they've always been very, very supportive of the channel. And I'd like to thank them for all their support. And what else was I going to tell you about? Here we go. Oh, yes. So I've got some now. I've been here obviously 25 years. So I've got some photos that we dug out the other day of how long I've been doing things and attempting to do things in Spain. Is quite funny. But before we start with that, I wanted to show you now what is this. Here we go. So we just wanted to wish get well soon for Gary and Linda, who's our clients, and that is
which
George.
one's Gary?
No, they're not Gary. Oh, dear, I'm tired. Oh dear, cats. No, I actually haven't got a photo of Gary and Linda. This is George and foster girl Tilly, and George had an operation yesterday. He managed to eat something sharp. And we would like to wish George all the best. Not Gary Linda. That's not Gary Linda. Oh, dear.
So George is the big one.
George is the big one. Is that a Cocker Spaniel, is it? Or what is that?
No, it looks like maybe a pointer or something like that.
A pointer, that's it. A pointer. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know my dogs.
He's got dots on him, though. Looks like he's got some Dalmatian in there. Maybe. Don't know. Mind you, there's a lot of dogs who've got the spots as well. Looks like a pointer head, definitely.
Well, he's a pointer, and he had an operation yesterday, and I was just laughing with Gary and Linda, saying that I was a bit jealous because he got a big scar down his belly. Oh. And I said when I woke up after my operation on my arm, I was like looking for, I need something to impress the grandkids in a few years. You know what I mean? Yeah. I want a story here, and I looked and there was nothing.
Oh no.
Nothing at all. They gave me a plaster where they put the screw. I was like, "Is that it?" You're not taking me back in.
Oh,
You
not
sure
fair.
that's safe?
I've got a nice one on my under my belly there from the scar from when they cut out my cancer. So that's really good. It's a proper, a line with all the little crisscross bits on it as well. Proper scar.
Yeah. So you need when you get to close to 50, you need some of these scars.
Yeah, so you can embarrass the grandkids and just go, look at
Look at that. Look. Yeah, that was when I got bitten by a shark.
that.
So that was that, and I wanted to tell you about yesterday. Well, I think I WhatsApped you as well when I was sat
Oh,
there.
yes, the big, we'll call you Wheels Goodacre from now on.
Wheels. So I had a bit of a disaster yesterday, and I decided, first of all, I said, right, after work, we need to get out and do something different because we've literally got work, home. And I've started doing summer hours, which means starting earlier, finishing earlier, but it's been starting earlier, finishing at the same time. So that hasn't worked. So I said, I'm going to take the kids bowling. So we went to our local bowling alley, which is in Mare Nostrum, only to find that Mare Nostrum doesn't exist anymore
Oh,
because they're having a big Merco or some American thing is going there.
oh dear.
I'll tell you what it is now. And they've closed down everything. We used to love going there, and they've just moving Mare Nostrum American shop. Let me Google it and tell you what it is.
Yeah.
American shop or Tienda Americana. What's going on? I don't know. But anyway, something's happening huge over there, and there's one of the biggest American stores going to be there, and they've moved the cinema. Anyway, we couldn't go bowling. So I Googled bowling alleys. Now, there's this one that said Bolos 80. I went, oh, that looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the Poligono, which is behind the McDonald's near Trafico.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, that's there. Let's go there. So I just Googled it, followed it, got there. Yeah, not going in there with kids.
Oh,
On the Thursday evening, it looked very lively on the outside. And
okay.
yeah, I mean, it could look fun, but definitely not going in there with an 8 and 11-year-old bowling. So then I Googled another one, which I found the other side of Malaga. Says, come on. And then we're getting on the motorway, and suddenly this happened. Oh dear. I think I sent that photo to you, didn't I?
You did send me that one.
So now what the reason I'm highlighting this is not so everybody takes pity on me, because afterwards this happened, which car got taken off, which I tried to save the tire because it literally sounded like it burst, but I thought, well, if I don't drive it far, then it will save the rim. Maybe we can fix the tire. But then when the guy with the Grua came, parked about 15 meters in front, got in the car and drove up the ramp, I knew the tire had gone then anyway, There's no way we were saving that tire. But that's not a problem, because afterwards we found somewhere to eat, and this was the menu. So yay.
Look at that. Revueltas, entrantes. Oh yeah. Nice. A few salads there. Oh, plenty of fish.
Well, it's not. I had just had the breaded chicken. I just had the pork fillet. But but what worried me was how difficult it was to manage the process of getting the tow truck through the insurers, because you couldn't speak to anybody.
Oh.
It was all done. Now, I'm not going to tell you about insurance companies. I don't want to, get too much into that. But I want to do it more as to say, like, guys, if you've got car insurance, make sure, if you don't speak Spanish, you need to be finding out your expat numbers. I didn't realize I speak Spanish. It's fine. But I didn't realize till I spoke to him today. I went, what on earth do you do to the clients which don't speak English? Now, we have a special number. I'm like, I'm glad you give it out to people, because
didn't work for me.
Did it not?
No, I phoned that number and it rang and rang and rang, and then eventually it just went click, and then it rang and I got through to the Spanish people, and I said, "Hablas inglés?" and they went, "Momento," and put me through back to the other line, which just rang and rang and rang and rang and rang and stopped, and then went back through to the Spanish people again. I was going like 3 or 4 times, and I was stuck on a road, and I tried, but this was when we first arrived. I'd only been here for 2 months. Didn't speak a word of decent sentences over the phone. I just couldn't do it. I was nervous enough, but Yeah, it was horrible. Eventually, I can't remember what I did eventually. Yeah, but
Did
yeah,
you, and what happened to your car? Did it just break down? Did it?
yeah. This was the first car that we had, and something broke down on it, and it was an electrical thing, I think. And you know, when the car goes into emergency mode and it can't go beyond 20 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
So we were driving up the hill to Compter, so we could only go in first gear, and we were just going, and we had my mother-in-law in the car who was in her 80s, and Oscar in the car and Liz in the car. So there's four of us in this car, trying to get really really slowly, and we're going, oh no, and on the Torox road you can't get a signal on the phone either. So we're thinking, well, if it stops now, we've just got nothing. We can't even phone the Grua, you know.
Yeah.
So, but eventually, I think we just chugged all the way to the house, and we couldn't go up the last bit. It's too steep, so we parked at the bottom and then walked to the house. And then eventually, after talking to the insurance company the next day, finally got them to call the Grua out, I think, or something like that. But it was taking ages.
It's I mean it was all came through an app for me. So I phoned up, press 1 if you need this, press 2 if you need this, press 3. Okay, that worked out reasonably well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a link which said this is your service and your Guru is going to be with you in an hour. I was like, okay, cheers for that, but I kind of understand it's summer.
Mm-hmm.
And a good thing about having kids is you've always got water or random bottles of drink in the car, even though they're lukewarm, you're not going to die of dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
And though Fanta isn't very nice, it's about a week old.
Oh no! Don't you get a quicker service if you've got children in the car or?
Well, this
something
is
like
the
that?
thing. I didn't really get the option to tell them. And when I said I needed a taxi, it gave me the option. Have you got more people traveling? So yeah, we're gonna send you a taxi. So I waited for half an hour. Now, luckily at this point, we realized that I was like, look, we were near Traffico. So I was like, guys, put your yellow jackets on and we're just by the turn off. Get the other side of the barrier, go down, jump over, go find yourselves a bar, have a drink, and we'll work it out from there. You got charge on your phone. Just get out of this place, basically.
Yeah.
And I'll stay here with a car. So they did that. So luckily we could do that. And but then the Grua phoned me up, and I mean, I'm quite fortunate. I lived in Land Andalusia for 4 years, so I've got a good knack for understanding even the closed accents. And good job. I could say that. And he phoned up, and eventually I was like, look, I'm on. He couldn't understand that the Avenida Andalucia actually was a slip road because it's the main one. He's right next to the police. I'm going, it's not next to the police. It is the Avenida Andalucia. It's a slip road. And he went next to Traffico. Anyway, I said, I'll send you the WhatsApp ubication. He said, well, it's not even me coming. It's going to be my friend. So I really couldn't understand the point of the conversation. Then his friend phoned me up, and I sent him the pin. But all this had to be done in Spanish. And at the same time I was talking to them, a number from Madrid phoned me up, which I can only assume is the taxi. And I didn't get it. But when I phoned it back, it was a number you can't phone back.
Oh.
And anyway, so eventually the Guru turned up, took the car. They don't bring it back to your town because they can't take it to a garage that's closed. So they take it to the base and tell you they'll bring it first thing in the morning, which I can say they didn't bring it first thing in the morning. It arrived at 2:00 to the tyre shop, which closes at 2.
No.
And so this turned into now I won't have my car tomorrow or Monday because we've got to order 2 new tyres because the tyres have to be equal on the front.
Oh, yes, that's the rule.
And I bought these in February, which is a bit of a stinger. But apparently I don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. And then I went and met the family. I said, look, chill out, grab a beer, everybody have something to eat. We'll just grab an Uber home. Positive thing, we got an Uber all the way from Malaga to Alarin. It was €13.
Oh, that's very cheap.
Yeah, but normally a €30 taxi ride. And then I saved the receipt, complained this morning to the insurance, and they gave me a notification they were going to reimburse it straight away anyway. So
cool.
So I did get a reimbursement for that, but just check your insurance, guys, because if my job is paperwork, so obviously my paperwork is a disaster. I had my insurance policy on my phone, but I didn't have any number. And the number, I was like, oh, I've got to Google the number.
I think I've got the wrong Grewers number. I think I've changed my car insurance policy since I wrote the number down in my phone. So I think I've got the wrong Grewers number. I'm going to have to look that one up.
So check it out. So check out your insurance number. George looks like a Great Dane. Like
no, I think it's the camera angle. He's not that big.
It's a mini Dane. Mini Dane.
Yeah. No, I think that's just the low camera angle. I think he's a pointer.
Right, so that was that with the Saturday. We obviously didn't get until 11:30. We had to get up early today because guess what I did yesterday? I left my car at work. I said, "Oh, we'll all go in the same car and leave this. Don't take two cars everywhere. That's silly." And so then we got home to no cars. But again, this morning Uber from my house, and I live out in the country. €10 got in.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah. So then
you know where I live, so get an Uber down there. But they did come.
That was good.
So, and anyway, to finish off today, I wanted to show you something which was quite funny. I've been here celebrating my 25 years here this year, and it's been a lot of reminiscing, a lot of happy moments. This year, a lot of sad moments as well from friends that we've lost and stuff over the course of that time. And but I came across this photo. Back in 2007, around 2007, I bought my house in Loja, which we've now sold, but in Granada with Lara. She was 21, which is our first home. And we were there. I moved from Salou to Andalusia because we fell in love with Andalusia. After we went on a 2.5 month trip and then subsequently did 5 more trips back, right, across Spain, 3,000 kilometers or 2,500 kilometers in this thing. In a little that's Lara there at the back, in a little Citroen AX. We traveled all the way from Barcelona. We stopped every 200 kilometers and just found places to sleep and
a little tent.
Yeah,
nice.
And that's how we spent a couple of months in the winter, believe it or not.
That would have been too hot in the summer in just a little tent like that.
Oh God, yeah. It would have been, and that car was amazing. I'd say if you can see, it's missing the right-hand wing mirror as well. I never did have one, and that's nearly 20 odd years old, that photo. But yeah, we took that everywhere, and it had the gear joints underneath the mounted the engine were held together with tie wraps.
And you never got stopped at all in this car with no wing mirror.
Which it was back in the day of maps as well, wasn't it? It was like there was no Google Maps then.
Yeah.
And
how did we manage? Yeah, how did we manage that?
How did we manage? So there was Lara.
I had a European map when we were camping in France. Yeah, we managed.
And it was Lara had the map, and then she had a blanket because it had no heating in it. So the heating was broken. So just to sit and drive along, and I used to have pedals underneath it, going through Murcia in December. But yeah, so that was our discovery. But eventually we ended up in Loja, and that's when I left my main job. And I said, right, we're going to start a new life. 2007, we moved down to the house we bought in 2006. And there's a lot of opportunity to translate and help people get residencies. And I'd sort of stumbled into this this position of being a translator because of my Spanish. Nobody in the town where we moved to spoke Spanish. Had quite a big British community at the time in Loja. And when we got there, I decided we were going to put on a festival. So there's me, slightly skinnier.
Wow, look at you.
And we did this thing called Britfest. Right? Looking back on it, it didn't go off that well, but we had fun. And I thought I had this amazing idea because I was working obviously as a translator between all the different companies, like the garages, and there'd be lawyers there, and there'd be bar owners and stuff like that. And it was a relatively small town, 25,000 people. And I was like, well, why don't we bring everybody together, right?
Yeah.
Do this festival, and everybody can offer their services, and I'm sort of in the middle as the translator type thing, which I get paid for, and stuff like that. There's people who did the swimming pools, and That's sort of my first attempt at doing an event in 2007, so 18 years ago there. And these guys were from the local bar, so we got them involved as well. And
So you were the only translator there for the whole event?
yeah. So I was there. I was running around like a lunatic, absolute lunatic. Just getting, filling up your black book as well to work. And it was this like sort of dream of having a sort of a network which could support the foreigners and people who are coming to Spain and the Brits. We did Britfest. It was fun. It was an experience. It was part of the journey. I can tell you that.
Beautiful.
We're a little bit more organised at Upsticks than back then, but
yeah. Still got a load of paperwork everywhere.
yeah, still got paperwork. Still got paperwork everywhere. But that was one of our escapades. So anyway, right. Well, I reckon that's about it for today. What we're going to wrap up on? Tell us what you've got going on.
What have I got going on? Well, I'm editing over the next 24 hours. I'll be editing the radio show that I recorded today, and a good one it was too. And Dave Pepper is his name, and he's been in lots of bands since the 1980s. And yeah, connected with Zig Zig Sputnik and all of the Coventry music scene. And he's now kind of got his second wind. He feels like a teenager again. He's got into a band with, you remember I did an interview with the woman from Rock Goddess, the bass player from Rock Goddess and Girls School. Yeah. And that's the same band. He auditioned for that band and they've hit it off. And so at the moment, they're just getting all of their sort of cover material together so that they can just play in pubs and get used to doing that. But at the same time, she's got contacts. There's an agent in Barcelona, there's record companies and everything that are already interested. And they're also doing a set of original material. They're writing new material, and she's got the stuff from Rock Goddess and Girls School, stuff that she wrote, that they can remake with him playing the guitar, and he's got stuff from other bands that he's done throughout the ages. So this was a really, really, really great interview, and just listening to him regaling tales of the bands he's been in and what he's done and who he's met. And so yeah, that's kind of, it's like one day every week when I get to meet a musician, somebody who thinks about music all the time and has entertained people for so many years. So, yeah, it's great fun. And I get to sing a song with them as well. We do an acoustic version of some song. And, he's a rock guitarist. He's normally playing a Gibson Les Paul and hitting it really, really loud stuff that he loves. It's proper rock. But we just did 2 acoustic guitars, and we did Wicked Game by Chris Isaac. And he's doing he's doing all of that stuff, and he's playing all the lead, and I'm just playing all the chugging along kind of guitar, and he's got a great voice as well. So we did it all in harmonies, and yeah, looking forward to that one coming out. It's a week tomorrow when it comes out on the local radio station.
So will you stick the link in the bottom of this video when it's done? Make a comment and stick it in.
I will do, yes. I'll stick a link into the website, because you can listen live online, and that's the best way, because there's no way you can't actually listen back to the show, so you've got to listen to it live at the time it's out. So it's 10 till 12 every Friday. I'm on every Friday. I think what they're going to do tomorrow is repeat the very first show that I did about 7 or 8 weeks ago.
Brilliant.
Tomorrow.
Fantastic. Well, put the link in the comments below. And anybody who wants to watch it, don't forget our week on Saturday. I will be on your show. I can't remember what we said we were going to talk about now. What did we say? We did have something planned.
We did. We'll remember at some point. Yeah, it's too late in the day. We're both too tired. And I had 2 cocktails back to back last night, and the coffee's running out now.
Yeah, too late. If you do one of these are now limited edition. YouTube Spain magnets.
You just press really hard on the back of the car, and put some spit on them as well.
Yeah, so get them on. If you want one of these, drop us your address into YouTube at upsticks.es and we
Yeah.
will send you one. Even if we've got you, I need some of those flyers. I need some.
Yeah, I'll get you some more.
Yeah, we need some
Yeah.
flyers. We need some
And it's
flyers.
because there's a special offer on for sponsorship on there, which you can't read. Yeah, yeah. It's all like 50% off if you sponsor one of the midweek videos. And what you want to do is sponsor like one that came out yesterday because this one's getting loads of views.
Yes, yeah, that's it's definitely we did well, nearly 5,000 views between us on the two videos. That's good.
Yeah, let's have a look. See what it says. How many's come in? Because it was 1,974. Now it's 2,098. It's nearly 2,100. We've got another 124 views in the last hour. There we go. Lovely.
Well, that's good. Well, we'll have to have a look at that. Well, I was going to say something else now, and I can't. Can't remember what I was going to say now, so it doesn't matter. That's it. It's the end of the day. All right, and thanks for tuning in, guys. And we will see you next week for Thursday's update. I'll be on Scats's show a week on Saturday.
Week on Saturday, yeah. Or you can watch it it's on every week at 10 o'clock in the morning Spanish time.
Yeah, it's on every week. There's some fantastic people on there. If you are moving to Spain, that is what you want to go. And now I'm trying to find my outro. I'm not as good at this. You're better than this. You're so much better on this system than I am anyway. See you later, guys.